welcome back to the next episode of G&A Podcast. I am literally the dumbest high school teenage girl in the world, Jubidu.
And I am your overhyped workout partner with a muscle fetish, Soberoni.
And we are back today for some good old anime goodness. As a matter of fact, this is our first week of the spring season. Summer. Yep, I meant that.
Summer is here.
Yes. But before we start on those, we will clean up what's left of the spring season with One Punch Man episode 12.
Yes, the final episode of One Punch Man season 2. And it didn't feel like a final episode.
It really did.
Felt like a regular old One Punch Man episode.
Which is like, on one hand, there's that. But on the other hand, it was still really fun. Like, it was just fighting everywhere. That's literally it. They were just fighting.
There was a lot of fighting. The animation was notably better for this episode. There was just... It was weird because it's like, I liked the episode, but not as a final episode. So I'm conflicted on it.
Yeah, me too. I'm just like, this should not have been the last episode, but it was still a good episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we got to see Bang finally fight, even though it was against like a giant centipede. We only had that Garo fight for like the first 4 minutes of the episode or so.
Where literally just Bang beating the shit out of
Garo.
Oh my god. It wasn't even like a contest. It was, he was like on the verge of dying.
Yeah.
Especially when Bang's older brother came in.
Yeah, and helped out.
Which wasn't even necessary at that point.
It was like a 3-on-1 Genos and Garo.
Genos was just on the back. He's like, I'm pretty sure.
I did like how they did touch on Garo's backstory a bit, where he was like picked on as a kid, and popular kids made him be a villain, and they beat the shit out of him or whatever.
I mean, at least it's making sense.
And his teacher was a giant dickhead. And like, called him trouble.
Why are you calling him trouble? Why'd you all of a sudden snap? I feel like that. I actually see that happening like in real life.
Yeah.
More often than I care to admit.
Mm-hmm. Popular kids bullying the less popular kids.
And then the less popular kid snaps, and they're like, whoa.
What could have triggered him?
I wonder.
So, it's relatable. I still love Garo. I still love his story. I kind of really wish that this season overall focused more on him. Instead
just
of
a little bit more.
Doing the whole monster society. I mean, I get why it's part of the story, but I don't know, just the Monster Association is not as interesting to me, and nearly as interesting as Garo as a character.
I would say that, but like the Monster Association thing with Seiryu was really good.
It was. That was like the one point where it was like, okay, this is great. But then in this instance where it just literally broke up an epic fight between Garo and his master, like, oh, monster's coming in. He just powered up and was like, "Oh, don't fuck with me! I'm gonna beat the shit out of you."
Okay, he was still going to die.
But it could have like a last. They were like A-class heroes, and
but no, it was literally his teacher and his teacher's older brother who was also a master in a completely different martial art.
You're fighting Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee's master.
Exactly. So no, I do not think they're away from. So he was not going to win that battle. Like. No, if he would have done some sort of bullshit power up and beat them both, that would have made me very upset. That made me incredibly upset.
But I would have taken that as an ending if he had lost to them both, or like he finally goes out to them as a better ending than. Well, we'll see you in season 3. This kind of had, what this reminded me of? This reminded me of the ending to Hero Academia's last season, where it was just like, well, see you next season.
You're not wrong, except I think I preferred this ending over that one even. But at least this one had more action. That one just felt like a super mega detour. Like I did nothing to do with anything. But excuse me. Yeah, I like this. Like I said, I like the action. I don't mind that Garo flew away to fight Live Another Day because he's obviously gonna come back bigger, better, and stronger next season.
Hopefully, we get another season. I don't know, but if we do get another season, it probably won't be for a while. So we'll just have to live with that. And we finally got to see Saitama do his thing where he punches something and it blows up.
Which, I think they use that that kind of shtick. I think they used it way far more responsibly this season.
Yeah,
I think they just like relied on it as a trope for season 1. They're like, punch it, he wins. Punch it, he wins. Like every other episode. But this time, I literally can count on one hand how many times.
I think he only did it like twice or 3 times this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot more reliably and responsibly used, which kind of goes with my theme for this season of One Punch Man, where it's like everything is better. Like the plot is better, the characters are better, the writing is, everything is better, but the animation and the fights. So it kind of comes down to like, what do you prefer? Do you want just like crazy animation and fights, or can you do without that kind of stuff in exchange for better characters and plot?
I would go as far as say I was okay with the animation and the fighting. Do you really not like it this season?
It was alright. It's better than average. It just was nowhere near the first season.
The first season, I don't remember this first season as well. Only because in my mind, I only just see Saitama punching something and it blows up.
Like there was some good choreography fights in the second season, like with especially with Garo. Like remember that scene where he fought Tank Top Man and he's like beating the shit out of him.
That was the same season.
No, second season. I'm saying like there's a lot better fights in terms of like choreography, but the first season had just like epic panoramic like super shots where it was like super fluid animation of like Saitama flying through the air.
Oh yeah, like that one scene where he's like dreaming about
where he's fighting those guys. Yeah. So
yeah, I feel like those scenes. Yeah, I agree, but it was better. Yeah, think about that. It does make it better than this season, but not. I'll take all of this over that though.
Yeah, and I remember somebody brought up. I don't remember if it was on stream or in comments, but they were like, well, yeah, the story and everything is better, but that has nothing to do with the production studio. So like because the studio had a better story to work with from the manga, they shouldn't be given credit for it because the first season was a weaker story overall. But then my counterpoint to that is, have you seen Umineko? Because you can easily fuck up source material. You can fuck it up really bad. Doesn't matter how good the material you have is.
Yeah. It does take brain cells to execute something like well, even if you're given something really good to work with.
So I think this is gonna beat the first season for me because I care more about that kind of stuff. So, shall we give it our ratings?
Yeah.
I forget what I gave it. I think I gave the first season 8.5 for reference.
Did I?
I did. I don't know what you gave it.
Did we rate the first season?
I did. I don't remember if you did.
I don't think I did.
Because I had to watch it before this season. So I watched it and I was like, I give it 8.5.
I think I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
I'm leaning toward a 9, but
only because I would rate it the first season like an 8 if I was feeling generous. If I was being generous, I would have given it an 8.
I'm leaning toward a 9, but I don't think it was quite good enough to be a 9. Like I don't think it was top tier. And it was good for what it was. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 as well. I also gave the first season 8.5, but I think if I were to do like a spectrum of 8.5,
wow,
this is first season's on the lower end of 8.5.
Biased from my
no, because I don't want to give it a 9 because it's not good enough to get a 9. But
then either you have to like
lower the first season.
You literally just said how much.
All right, fine. The first season is 8, and this is 8.5. You know what I'm saying? I think that this was. This is why people do like 8.4s and 8.6. This is why we have the in between numbers.
I mean, if you want to give it,
I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be that kind of guy. But I'll just say this is 8.5. And let's move on to the new season, starting with another show that comes with the claim of great animation. Enen no Shouboutai, episode 1. My David Productions.
Okay, so this anime is clearly going to be one of those shows where it's going to be very pretty, lots of fire, lots of red, lots of the awkward main character smiling when you don't want him to. Shout out to the Final Fantasy reference.
Shinra.
Yes, I know. They there's no way they were dumb when that was definitely on purpose. They made that name. The commander
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he's hot. I like the little thing that like the nun and the other girl Maki that they were doing the little
back and forth relationship. Yeah,
they're very cute. Don't really care much for about Hinawa. Seems to be like the serious guy. It's all serious and stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. One thing I'm surprised about this show has a very. I didn't expect it to have such a spiritual feel to it.
Yeah, it kind of like. But then again, when you think about Soul Eater, there was also a lot of like.
It's called religious.
Soul Eater. Yeah, it was like a lot of religious things.
I kind of expected that.
But this is definitely. And the more I watched the episode, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely by the guy who did Soul Eater. Like, even to the point where the characters look like they're straight out of Soul Eater.
Yeah, like I saw a kid. Remember, like that kid? I think it was from a. I'm not sure if it was Shinra himself. Like it was like a flashback of a kid wearing a shirt that literally looked like it was straight from Soul Eater. Like,
yeah. It was very. You can like immediately see the Soul Eater influence here. And there was a very heavy amount of religious stuff with the fire god, and even like the fire station has like a church vibe to it and has like stained glass windows and everything.
There's a nun there.
For some reason, the nun needs to be with them on these fire extinguishing missions
to send them off or whatever.
I think the best part of this episode, or the best part of this, well, I guess this episode, was the character interactions were really fun. The nun and Maki were really fun. Yeah. Shinra as a character, so far, I'm fine with him. He doesn't strike me as too annoying or too... Yeah. He's just kind of okay. But everyone else around him is much better of a character than he is.
I know this is kind of fucked up, but it's like, I wish they wouldn't, like, hit me over the head with the fucking flashbacks. It's like, we get it. Fire started, they all blamed him. Yeah,
I kind of wish they saved the flashbacks for like
the later time,
later episodes. Like if they gave us like a little peek, like they did, like if they ended the flashbacks where it was like, oh, his parents died or whatever, his mom died, and they never showed us what happened,
and then slowly reveal a little more, that would have been fine. But no, they were like hitting us over the head.
This episode was like half flashbacks scattered throughout random moments.
I was just like, no, please don't be a Naruto.
Also, his mom has, like, fucking vampire razor. They all have razor teeth. Like, shark teeth. His mom had, like, fucking shark fangs. But, yeah, there was a lot of flashback. The animation, obviously, was, like, top tier.
Yeah, it was really good. Holy hell.
To the point where it was, like, overly animated. Something like I can imagine, like, if there's a scene next episode where he's just, like, brushing his teeth and, like, every individual frame is animated and shit.
Like, you see, the spittle is, like, tossing in there.
Exactly. They do, like, a 3D panoramic view or something like that. Just like, all right, you guys got a lot of money. We get it. You got a lot of animation product. But the fights were good. I like the fights. Short. They were short, but they were good. And there was a lot of fire, like you said. There's a shit ton of fire, which I kind of feel sucks because sometimes the fire, like, obfuscates the animation because there's, like, the whole screen is fire, and then there's, like, one kick somewhere in the middle of the screen happening or something.
Yeah, and then the whole screen, everything just splits in half. Like, that's it.
So the fire is, like, used as, like, kind of like a trick to, like, hide parts of the screen to make it easier to animate, I think.
Yeah, it's very much a trick that, like, similar to what they do in Black Clover when they have like super fast fights and then they're just like, we're just gonna take the texture out of everything. Everything's just gonna be a blur. And I'm like, this totally doesn't make it easy for you guys to literally put like brown and green blur that's supposed to represent mountains and stuff.
It's easier to animate.
It's like, ooh, we're doing this because they're going so fast.
It's easier to animate when you don't have to do a background and it's just all fire.
Exactly.
But other than that, I think it was a great episode. It was definitely a great introductory episode. I have to mention that the girls, just like with Soul Eater, fucking all super hot girls, pun intended. They're all ridiculously hot. There's a girl like in the picture. All two of them, but even this girl that's in the picture that you can't, I don't know if you can see it too well. Like she's off to the side and she was like in the opening in a bit. Yeah. She looks super fire. Oh. So I can't wait till she shows up. Because she's gonna be like the Blair of the show in that I'm gonna lose my shit over her when she does show up. So yeah, great introductory episode. I think this is going to be a go-to anime for action this season. Maybe this and Vinland Saga. So, good impressions, good impressions. Let's move on. Something that is significantly less action-y, but has a lot of muscular men nonetheless. Dumbell Nan-Kilo Moteru, episode 1.
So, starts off about this high school girl who is gaining weight because she is literally just
quote unquote gaining weight. She looks perfectly fine. She's a little plump, which is fine.
Yeah, she would be like a little. Yeah, she'd be like a little thick.
Which is good. Because we're in the thick phase of life right now.
Exactly.
Thick is in.
Thick thighs save lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we like. Then we like calculate her weight.
Yeah, it's like 120 pounds.
Yeah. And even though that's around how much I weighed in high school, but given the fact that she she's probably like way shorter than me, so it probably would make her a little chunky.
Well, she's a nice thick gyaru. Who doesn't like thick gyarus?
Apparently she does not like thick gyarus because
I feel like women have the worst taste in women. From a guy's perspective, I mean, like they think like, oh, guys are like skinny girls and blah 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 blah. I think like if she gets like some guys like fit girls, but I don't know if that's the overwhelming majority of guys she's getting. I feel like if she just stayed, like the premise of the show's fundamentally flawed in that if she just stayed doing what she was doing, she'd be a lot more attractive than most guys.
I don't think. Well, and I said when we were watching it, and I know, according to Japan Society, no, they like their girls looking like sticks.
Maybe it's a Japan thing.
It definitely is a Japan thing. Yeah, no, if she was in America, she'd be getting dick left and right. With the assumption that she was of age. But... Disclaimer.
All characters in the show are 18 and older.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so she... But yeah, first of all, this bitch eats a lot, though.
I love how they show all the calorie counts of everything she eats on screen. Like, it just stops and, 200 calories.
At some point, I'm just like, damn, bitch, you're still eating. You're still eating.
And the worst part is that this is, like, food shaming me, because I'm like, that's me. Like, I'll eat some shit where it's like, oh, these dangles are good. And then, like, 2 steps later, I'm like, damn, I want a hot dog. Damn, I want nachos. I feel like
you still don't eat that much, though.
I eat small things. Like snacks, I snack a lot. Like just like her, I snack a lot.
Yeah, I do too. For me, it's like either I eat like my meals and I'm like good, or like I just snack the entire day and I just don't really eat anything of nutritional value. But yeah, so she goes to the gym. To lose weight. It seems like some super fancy mega gym that seems really expensive.
Blink Premium.
Yeah, Blink plus. Then she sees her friend, well, not friend, a classmate of hers there with the weirdest name I've heard in anime in a long time, or at least in like Japan.
It's a very Japanese name though. It's like Akemi Sorien.
That's so weird. I've never heard a Japanese name like that.
I mean, we can find weirder names. What was that anime we were watching that had all the weird names? Was it an anime or was it the game? I forget. No, it was an anime. We watched some anime that everyone had some really weird ass names, and I forgot what it was.
Yeah, but the point is, like, this is like in like modern day Japan. So you think she would just be like a Sakura or a Minako or something like that?
Well, her parents want to be.
No, Soruen. Either way, Soruen is. She is a girl with a how you say, a muscle fetish.
Yeah.
She loves working out. She loves watching people work out. She's weird about it, which is very amusing actually.
I think she's the best part of the show so far.
Absolutely.
Just seeing her freak out over
like
muscles and to the point where it's like, yes, I'm orgasming from watching these people work out.
I really think at some point she was like, I'm ready to come. Like,
yeah. I like that the show's not ashamed of itself. Like, it's self-parody a lot. Like, her going over the top, and also the scenes where they do like the little educational, like, this is how you work out at one point. Hibiki's just like, why is it overly sexual? Why are all these why are we sexualizing these workouts?
Why is there a shot of Sodian looking down at us with like her thigh in the way, which is a great thigh pic, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the way the cute trainer she was in love with just like flexed all at once, and then just became like this grotesque thing.
They literally just photoshopped like the head of like a generic anime protagonist from a harem onto like an overly super rippled muscular body.
That's literally what just happened. It was great.
I love the I actually really love all the overly muscled, like the one scene in the beginning where they show the guy like lifting weights and then his fucking muscles like start rippling and shit.
I know, that was kind of gross, but it was fun. Yeah.
This show actually inspires me to want to work out. They're opening a gym here, so I'm gonna use this show as inspiration to work out and see how long that lasts.
Guys, let's place bets.
Place bets on how long Oni is going to hit the gym and stay there.
He'll stop before the end of the year. And that's me being generous.
That's very generous. Thank you, Drew. That's like 6 months of workout. That's all I need.
That's all you're not. That's all you need.
5 and 6 months of me being in a hard workout and diet. That's it. I'll be like 140, 150, super ripped. I'm not that far off.
Okay, so that's not gonna happen. So you're not gonna make it. You're probably not gonna make it past my birthday.
That's still generous. So
that's so generous.
Drew has a lot of faith.
I know, right? I'm like, I should be like before October.
I was expecting you to say like before August.
Maybe I've been trying to, in my own way, trying to motivate you.
Thank you. So yeah, good. The best part of the show obviously was the comedy. The comedy is really strong. I recommend it as if you're looking for a comedy anime this season.
I'm very interesting ecchi. Like that is there.
It's there. It's very subtle.
I wouldn't say subtle. Like I said, that thigh pic, and when they were doing.
I'll say this: it's classy ecchi.
It is classy ecchi.
It's not like they're flashing you or anything like that.
Like their tits are like smacking in the face or anything.
Yeah, it's not a Queen's Blade. They're not shooting acid out of their nipples or anything. Yeah. So yeah. Speaking of which, I think the primary competition for comedy is going to be between this show and our next one, which is Joushi Kousei no Mudazukai, episode 1.
Which is my episode of the week.
Ooh, this was a weird show.
It was such a weird first episode. Holy hell.
When I first saw it, I didn't know how to feel about it. Because I'm like, I liked it, but I don't know. And then I watched it with you and ended up liking it a lot more the second time around. Because I caught a few things. But yeah, this was a trippy in a weird sense. Like, it's very non-traditional comedy.
Yeah, it's literally like, what happened if we like what's the word?
Exasperate?
Yeah, exasperate basically like a high school girl to like the umpteenth degree, and then just make an anime about that. Yeah, and there you go. And then for me, it works for me. It really works for me. Because I just spent the whole episode being like, oh my god, this girl is really stupid. And then just as I thought I was like ready for them to move on, it's like, no, I can be more dumb. And I was just like, God, yeah, I feel like I should be tired of this one note, but I can't. Yeah. It's so funny. Like, it's so stupid and
it's
funny.
Like the show, when you watch like an anime or something, or just any comedy in general, there's like usually like the show knows when it does a joke, and it's like, all right, we did that joke. Let's stop. We don't want to waste this joke. You know, we want to save and move on to another joke. This show is like, nah, we just want to keep doing the joke until you're fucking like you lose concept of self and are unaware what the fuck is going on. We're just gonna keep hitting you in the head with this joke.
We're gonna literally keep hammering in how stupid this girl is.
Mm-hmm. And like everyone else, it applies to everyone else because everyone else is just like a trope, but it's like an over the top iteration of the trope. Like her other friend is into microbiology and has like robotic emotions, but she's like super weird. Like the whole cast is weird.
And the other girl is like, she's like a weeb, but I don't know. I think the other girl's like way more normal.
Yeah, she's like the only really
like she's a weeb, but it's like outside of that, like she's like, oh my god, read my manga, not my anime. Like, nah, she's just like the girl who just puts up with
all the shit that's happening.
Yeah, all the Nozomi's antics.
I like the obviously the loli, but the loli is this is funny in the sense that she's just like overly aggressive and just like just hates everybody around her because she has like this super height complex and she's so short.
She's just crazy in the playing complex.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Fuck you, you bastard! I'll tell you, you're my enemy."
Like it's like all the, but it wasn't like super. How do I say? It's like they did a bunch of different skits to show how stupid she was, which I appreciate because they're all in their way they're all very specific, like very original skits. Like she literally went to all of like the supporting cast and she was like, "Hey, can you introduce me to a hot guy? Hey," and that's how you're introduced to all of them, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah,
that was a good scene. Like, and it just doesn't. There's not really a flow to it. It just she's with one person and asks, "Can you introduce me to the hot guy?" And literally, like the next second, she's with another person in another setting doing something else. Like, "Can you introduce me to a hot guy?"
Yeah, one of the characters that I feel like is going to be a favorite of mine, funny enough, is actually the homeroom teacher.
Yeah, the homeroom teacher was.
Oh my god! Yeah, he was actually really good.
The second, the over the top one in the show.
Exactly, like he's almost like he's like second to the main character.
It's funny because he's like he's over the top and stupid in some scenes where he's just like, only prefer high school or only prefer college girls. Don't even try to fuck me because I don't want to go to jail.
It's not worth it. But why is that? And then he's like talking to like the point where he's like suggesting that he actually wants.
Yeah, like he's having like this psychological evaluation in real time where he's like, I do want to be a high schooler, but I can't because it's against the law and I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
So, but then in another scene, he'll be like super responsible and be like, listen, you need to do your homework and do your math problems. And
yeah, he's like, remember she was like, oh, I want to get a boyfriend, da-da-da. And he's like, if you do 5 of these problems in the next amount of minutes, boy, you'll meet a boy. Yeah. He says shit like that. I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird. Such a weird show. I think the best part of this episode was definitely the series of scenes where she wants to meet a boy.
Oh my god. There's all these different scenarios.
Yeah, where it's just like, and it gets like progressively more stupid and over the top, whereas at first it's normal where it's like, oh, we meet because I meet him at his part-time job and he like delivers a pizza to me or something. And then it ends with like, he's in a car crash and I have blood. He needs my blood to live.
And then he's like, huh. What an interesting woman. Yeah. and then another thing, the friends like shitting on her, like, ooh, they have some really good things.
Oh, yeah.
It's like very, it's very devastating.
Her friends don't hold back against her.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, well, I know I'm not like cute or anything. I know I'm like
she was like
laughing type, the laughing stock type, and they're like, "Oh God, at least she knows.
She's aware." Or like her other friends, like, "Oh, I'm a lower middle type of girl," and like lower middle. How dare you overestimate
yourself? Oh yeah, that's what one girl said. Then the other girl was just like, "Wow, you're amazingly stupid."
Her friends are like savagely ripping her apart this whole episode. And this episode is the other scene, like even her fantasies at the very end just end up with her being homeless, and like I'm homeless, and this guy just finds me interesting because I'm a homeless person eating his scraps off the ground.
Oh yeah, that one. He's like, oh no, wait, probably gonna be picked up. He's gonna be turned off with that, and like, oh god, at least she knows
she's somewhat self-aware.
Yeah, like, at least she knows that's gonna be disgusting. But then he'll think about it and be like, what an interesting woman.
And when you think about it, this whole episode's premise was just, I want to find a boyfriend for the whole episode.
I want to meet guys.
I want to meet guys. Yeah, and I feel like this is gonna be a weird take. But I feel like this was similar to, remember the first episode of Lucky Star where they did that whole thing. It was like about food for 4 minutes, and it got really stupid and really boring after a while. Way back when. This is like that, but done right, where the premise is really simple, where you would see it in high school, where it'd be like, yeah, if I was in high school and I was a girl, I'd be like, oh, or when I was a guy, I was like, oh, I need to find a girlfriend. I want to find and meet girls. Like, it's a really simple premise, but somehow they managed to keep the story going around it for a whole episode and make it progressively more stupid and absurd as the show goes on.
Yeah, but not in a way that you're turned off by it. Like,
yeah.
I found it to be very fun.
I definitely recommend taking a look at this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be hit or miss for some people, but if it hits, it really hits. Mm-hmm. So
it does for me. I can tell I'm easily sold by this.
Mm-hmm. So very, very interesting show we got. Can't wait to see more from it. Speaking of which, let's move on to our other interesting show. And my episode of the week, Lord El-Melloi, Grace Note, episode 1. The continuation of Waver's story after Fate Zero. And of course, our residential Fate anime for the season. I really enjoyed this episode because it was like an exposition-y episode, but it did a good job of delivering its exposition in a very entertaining and not actiony, but entertaining and fun way.
Yeah, it was very on brand for like Melloi. Like, I feel like it's very much developing its own style, and I'm starting to get the feel for what that style is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely, in a weird way, definitely more lighter than like essentially the entirety of the Fate series.
I think the strength of it was definitely the character and characters in their dialogue. Like, there's a lot of interesting characters introduced. We have Waver, who's already just a fun character.
Yeah.
But Reines, we see like even more lowly Reines, like an even lowlier version of her for half this episode. Just like abusing the shit out of Waver, which was really adorable and sadistic at the same time. And then we had Waver's other friend, Melvin, who was another very interesting character we got to meet. And yeah, just like seeing Waver interact with two over-the-top characters is just fun to watch. I like that we got to see like directly what happened to them after the Grail War to lead to all this stuff happening. We got to see his actual opinions on Lord El-Melloi and how he feels about him now after all the stuff has happened.
Yeah, which maybe, I mean, I was always cool with him, but I liked him a lot more because he was just like, oh, I kind of realized that me participating in the war is kind of what got Kenneth killed in one way or another. So, whoops.
Yeah, and this feels like a really good version of Waver because it's like, he's not OP. He's just resourceful, which he was in the Fate Zero too. So I like that it's a continuation of that character, and he's just more mature and responsible now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's just a better character. I like the way it's headed. I like the way we got to see all the. I feel like it's a continuation of the loose ends from Fate Zero, because we never got to see his final impressions of the war and Iskander and how he feels about Gil, or how he feels about Lord El-Melloi and Kane, all of them. So it does a good job as a spin-off to wrap up all the loose ends and start a brand new adventure.
Yeah, I would say so.
So can't wait till the actual show gets started. I kind of feel like this was just a
little taste,
yeah, like a exposition-y, like here's the backstory you need before we get into the real stuff.
Yeah, in case you forgot any of this.
Yeah, kind of like a mini flashback, kind of, sort of, with new content. Yeah. Speaking of which, there was a Danmachi episode this week, but it was just a recap episode, so we're not going to cover that. Drew watched it, so he's up to date with Danmachi.
Yeah.
Vinland Saga has yet to be aired or subbed yet, so we're going to skip over that. We do have one show that we totally forgot about when we were doing the lineups for the season. So we're actually going to be covering 8 shows this season instead of our usual 7.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what happened last week. We totally forgot about that. So let us talk about Fruits Basket episode 14.
Well, let's see. So basically, this episode was this episode was a bit of a feels bad.
Yeah, it was stronger than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, we got to see Momoji's background, which I unfortunately forgot. I feel like if I did remember it, it would have been a lot less heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we learn about Momoji's history with his mom. Although I will have to kind of call shenanigans on it just a bit.
Why?
Because
a bit too over the top for you.
Yes, actually, it's like, every time I hug my son, he turned into this cute fucking rabbit.
Fuck rabbits!
No! Maybe. He's not feral or dangerous in any way. He just turned into a freaking bunny. I can never love a monster like that.
Maybe she has an allergy to rabbits.
I'm like, I don't, that's my one thing with the episode. I don't get the logic behind that. It just seems very nonsensical. Like, this is one of those moments where Oni's like, oh my god, I don't like it because it's just the drama for the sake of drama. Like, this is one of those moments. Yeah. 100%.
I think that's what kind of stopped it from being episode of the week for me. Because it was just like so, like, if you made it so like she's just like put off by it or something, and she's like, oh, this, I can never hug. Like, if you did it from that angle, like, I can never hug my son and I don't like this feeling.
Yeah, like if she felt like disconnected and she could never touch her son,
then I would understand it. But it's like, ugh, I'm gonna kill myself because this is disgusting.
Yeah, literally, there's like before she stabs herself, you see like her wrists are wrapped, which means she like slits her own wrist multiple times.
And they just left her in her room with scissors.
And then exactly. And I'm just like, or you can just what? Like, no.
Why are you trying to kill yourself? Because you
could have definitely thought of a better reason.
Yeah, it was so over the top. And like even when she's talking with the doctor, she's like, the biggest regret. I gave birth to that fucking horrible, disgusting. It reminds me of, you remember, maybe I'm just remembering because I'm rewatching Fate Apocrypha, but Fate Apocrypha episode with Fran's backstory where she meets Victor Frankenstein. And then Victor's like, disgusting! Yeah. Oh my god, you're so hideous! I'm like, dude, she's like the cutest fucking character in the show. Exactly. Like, it's not. This is one of the times where it doesn't match up. Like, you can't call him a disgusting monster just because he turns into a cute rabbit.
I know, exactly. Like, cute boy turns into even a cuter creature. Stabs himself with scissors. Like, yeah, that kind of just. It put me out of the mood a lot for this episode. Because, like, it was fine when they were like, oh, my mom forgot me and she doesn't know who I am. I feel like because of Soma family in some ways is so fucked up, I feel like they literally could have just been like, I still could have been like, I don't like this woman. She's prettier than me, and just beating her up or something.
Yeah, like it was like, fuck you. I don't like your like your looks or something.
Exactly, you fucking German piece of shit. You fucking kraut.
Yeah, and she's just actually super racist.
Yeah, he's the only Japanese who didn't like the Japanese paired with Germany during World War II.
So yeah, this was. A good episode from the standpoint of like we got to see more Miji's character, and there was like a lot of touching on Toru's kind of backstory and how she feels about her mom, which was nice. But the first part of it was so over the top, and just dumb that I couldn't emotionally attach myself to that episode.
I was getting very close, and then I saw her with the bandages and stabbing herself. I was just like,
if they cut that scene out of the episode, just like that part would have been 10 times better.
Absolutely. So then after all that, then there's Toru visiting the site of her mother. It's been a year since her mom's passed. And yeah, they go and pay their respects. Kyo is weirdly detached from everything. Excuse me. Although I think he has some like weird thing about death.
Maybe like, someone he loved died. Obviously, I don't remember what happened.
Probably, yeah, it's probably something like that. I loved how Hana was very. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those episodes where Hana was just just a little
much.
Yeah, just a bit much. Miss Chaos.
Yeah, I think this whole episode just needed to tone it down a wee bit. Yeah, just a wee bit.
Yeah, it could have just been like sad yet sensible story of what happened to Momiji, and then with Toru visiting her mom, it could have just been like, oh my god, we love. Oh my god, that whole scene where she's like, oh my god, I will cry when she gets married and everything. I'm just like, you're both like in high school. Like, what the hell?
We did get a good ending scene though with Kyo leaning over to kind of, I don't know if he was trying to kiss her or just whisper in her ear or something.
I don't think he was trying to kiss her. We're not ready for that.
We're not. We're on episode 15 of like 24 or something, so we better be ready for it.
Yeah, he leans over and sees the almost kiss. So I'm looking for the next episode because Yuki saw them, and Yuki's not going to be happy about that.
Yuki's like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, he's probably going to confront Kyo, and it's going to be drama. That kind of drama I cannot wait for.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see some fireworks fly. And if you guys... I can't segue from that. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode... With what?
4th of July. Fireworks.
But how do we segue that into the ending of the episode?
I don't know, you could have made it work.
Alright. If you guys like the fireworks that we lit with our words, then make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing so you can catch every episode of this literary fireworks show. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can donate to us on Patreon, like all these lovely patrons on screen right now. But you can also follow us on Twitter, Twitch, and join the party on our Discord. Drew, do you have anything you'd like to add?
If you enjoyed the sparks that flew, just like this past 4th of July, that's how you do a proper segue. Oh,
you had so much more time to think of something.
No, I was just so stunned.
This has been Soroni and
Juvie Doo.
We'll catch you next week. Later.
Bye.